Well, Jim, we love Helix Sleep, but let's get off that mattress and let's wake up and let's listen to some exciting audio from AEW's WrestleDream post-show media scrum.
Wait a minute, let me get my hot cocoa and my little nightcap with the furry ball on the end of it on, because this will put you to sleep if anything will.
For the record, I have 2 coffees on my desk right now in anticipation of this, but it was a lot of interesting things, and we'll break it up and we'll play different segments and talk about what you think about this. Let's start at the beginning. Tony Khan opening up with Adam Copeland.
Let's hear it for the newest member of the AEW roster, Mr. Adam Copeland. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me. So what's new? Sorry, I went for the obvious.
This is going to be excellent. Well, I'd like to begin by welcoming Adam to AEW. And I thought it was a great show tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight at AEW WrestleDream. It was an amazing event. Thanks to all of you. And I'd like to announce Adam Copeland has officially signed with AEW.
Yeah.
Congrats on being all elite, and something I'm really excited about, something that I think is going to set this apart, and something that got me even more excited about Adam being here is this is full-time. Adam's going to be with us every week. He's going to wrestle. He's a full-time part of the AEW roster. I think it's going to be a long time since anybody's seen Adam Copeland wrestle as much and at the level he's been in AEW. He's already been doing great stuff. He's wrestling at the highest level in recent years, but he's going to be here on a weekly basis, and it's something I'm so excited about because that's great news for us in AEW.
It's great.
Let me stop it there. We heard a great, an excellent, an amazing.
An amazing. He could have said that in a quarter of the words that he used and just turn it over to the guy that everybody's waiting to hear talk. He needs to get on the decaf, possibly a Xanax before the scrum.
I'll give Tony credit. He's wearing a suit again. So he's dressing up. His hair is still a mess, and he looks like he hasn't shaved or slept in days. And he's also wearing Antonio Inoki's red scarf.
Oh, boy.
For effect. But what do you think about
Did he knock the picture of Antonio Inoki over at the ceremony? Somebody said he was... I saw a clip of him where he went to try to hug the Japanese people who looked at him like he was a fucking space parasite. But I didn't see him knock over the picture of Antonio Inoki off the table in the ring when he was klutzing around.
I didn't see the ceremony. Was that on the pre-show?
It was on the pre-show. Yeah, the pre-show was as long as most pay-per-views, apparently.
I have to see this. Any interaction with Tony and other human beings in public is always really fun to watch. But let's hear some of the words from Adam Copeland, some of the first words.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Part of coming here is that I wanted to contribute. I wanted to help. And I just felt like here I'd really be able to do that and have the opportunity to do that. And I look at an entire fresh roster of faces and so many talent that I've never laid hands on before. And that to me, as a person who is driven by challenges, that for me was the biggest thing. Like, I've never been in a ring with Samoa Joe. I've never stood in a ring with Sting before tonight. After 31 years in the industry, that's never happened. And then I see a guy like Nick Wayne, or I see Swerve. There's just so many possibilities here. And for me at this stage of my career, that is so enticing. That is so exciting. That is so, I said it out there after the fact when I came back out there tonight, I felt free.
Let's pause it there for a second. What do you think of those comments?
Well,
do you understand where he's coming from?
Yes, I do. And also when he said, I think I can contribute, I think I can help, I just flashed back to the last guy that thought that, who just got fired for front face locking one of those young fucking fresh-faced puppies that he thought he could help.
Never forget how happy Tony Khan and CM Punk were at those first press conferences together. It was just like this.
That's the thing, and I'm not knocking Edge here. I'm wondering if he thinks that he is... Yes, he can have all these fresh matches. That's a different thing. But as far as helping contribute, you can't contribute anything if nobody wants to take it. So is it going to be the hangnail page there? I don't really listen to advice. We've done so great on our own. Or is it going to be the buckaroos? Geez, he's getting over us. Here's another one. We got to put a stop to this, or whatever it may be. How receptive is the audience for his help going to be is what I'm worried about. Or is he's going to have plenty of fresh matchups. I don't know if I'd go to Edge versus Nick Wayne real quick.
I think he can contribute. Like someone like Nick Wayne, for instance. I don't know anything about him, but he's a little different, I see, than like some of these guys that when AEW started were just complete indie guys that didn't want to hear from anyone because they thought their shit would get over and it didn't.
Yes, but this can't be, the guy just coming to do charity on the air. It's still a business. And Edge versus Sting, well, that might be attractive, except the combined age is 110 or whatever. Let's concentrate on Edge. I keep saying Edge. Adam Copeland versus MJF. Adam Copeland versus Twinkle Toes would mean something for that audience. The main event fucking guys, don't put him in there with Moxley. He doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, you
but
do.
The main names of the company, and not Jericho, where there's the combined age of 106. It would be the guys that are still that are on top and can still go and need a little extra boost up rather than the elderly or the completely green as chlorophyll. Just because it would be a good match, they've got another star now. They got another name. Let's not fucking make him one of the boys, and let's not make him half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm droning.
Well, that's all right. Let's go back to some audio right here.
That's just the word I felt free and it felt fun. And I felt almost like the same feeling I would have when I'd come out for my indie shows, back when I was either Adam Impact or Sexton Hardcastle or something. And it was this brand new thing that I always wanted to do. And that feeling, I felt it out there tonight. And that at this stage of my career to feel that's special. That's, man, like, come on, 31 years in and to feel that way, that's a gift. And this is all I ever wanted to do. And this feels like an opportunity to come in and not just come in every 3 months. I'm going to be there every week. I'm a full-time guy, and I want to do that for as long as that is possible, because I feel like that's how I can help the most. And more than anything, that's what I'm here to do.
Like you said before, very similar to CM Punk's comments when he first came in. The excitement, the feeling of freedom, which I guess just means not having Vince or Paul or Bruce or Kevin Dunn or any of these people telling you anything. You could do whatever you want. You can understand why he would feel excited by that.
Yes, I do. I'm not sure it was unintentional comedy. I'm not sure I would have phrased it. I felt like coming out in AEW, I felt like coming out at an indie show. That,
well,
some people that's a good connotation, other people it's not. But this, again, may be part of the problem that he's going to find out about. He doesn't have anybody telling him what to do. But unfortunately, nobody else has anybody telling him what to do either. And then if people start telling him what to do, which ones are they supposed to listen to? Is he going to be a producer and an agent? Well, they make suggestions. They don't give instructions. We've heard about that and seen that in action. So I'm just wondering if he's happy to be back with Christian and a number of his friends, but I'm wondering if he's fully grasped that. Does Edge even know at this point that you can't give all the boys the freedom to do all their creative shit, or you end up with what AEW looks like now?
AEW has a lot of problems. I don't know if Edge will be the solution. You could hope, if you're an optimist, that Edge will do something to make things somewhat better, at least in his segments. But again, this is what we were saying about Punk a couple of years ago. At least his segments will be good. But let's go back to Edge, some more comments. Edge and Tony Khan. Or excuse me, not Edge, Adam Copeland. The Cope.
It's great news. And in even more great news, we're going to hear from Adam Copeland, the Rated R Superstar, for the first time ever on AEW Dynamite this Wednesday night. Perfect way to begin a new era and to celebrate the 4th anniversary of AEW Dynamite. So
Perfect way to begin a new era. Have everyone's DVR go on the fritz.
Yeah.
Bring in your biggest star. Good idea.
Well, he should have said, don't tune in AEW Dynamite. Tune in right after AEW Dynamite at 10 o'clock Eastern, because that's when Adam Copeland's actually going to go on because of all of our technical difficulties. Not only did the DVR listing on many of the major cable systems had AEW live at 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Wednesday night, but because they had technical problems in the broadcast and played one of the shittiest, meaningless interviews ever twice so people could hear it, which was a detriment, that put Adam Copeland over the edge of 10 o'clock, and anybody whose DVR was set properly for 8 to 10, they still didn't see it.
Well, it's done well on YouTube, but let's go back to Tony and Adam.
I'm really excited to have you this Wednesday in Stockton on Dynamite for the first time ever.
Yeah, I'll give the mission statement and kind of explain what happened tonight and what my thought process was there, because there was a lot of different things going on emotionally out there tonight. Hey, Keith, how you doing? Good to see you. It's been a while.
Keith Elliott Greenberg, he gets everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. Like, if you can't tell, I'm pretty excited, and I feel like a little kid again. And this is the best gig in the world. It really is. Yeah, I'm a kid from Southern Ontario, and this is all I ever wanted to do. And if you had told me that 98% of what would happen to me throughout my career would happen, I'd say you're crazy. Well, throw this onto the list, and at the top of the list now, because my God, it just, man, I can't tell you how excited, and even just, so I'll tell you a story. Friday, I fly here Friday, right? And I call Darby, and I'm like, hey, Darby, you're a Seattle guy, right? So I want to get a muscle car. And do you got any cool sites that we could shoot? So we just went and guerrilla shot Friday night from like 9 to midnight. And I'm hanging out of the back of an SUV holding the cameraman while this muscle car is going 50 miles an hour down Gum Alley. Was it Gum Alley? With all the gum, which was disgusting and awesome at the same time. And I'm just like, I'm hanging out of an SUV holding the cameraman, and I'm just cackling at 49 years old. Like, this is amazing. What are we doing? This is awesome. And again, back to that word, just free.
All right, let me stop it there. There's a little bit of insight in how that video, the video that surprisingly played when Darby was being beat up, to show Edge driving down the road to come save him. That's how it was made.
Oh, boy. Well, first of all, Gum Alley. Apparently, I've been to Seattle. Nobody ever mentioned that to me. I missed one of the...
They've got all the gum, apparently.
One of the big tourist attractions there. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I understand he wants to have fun. I know he's not mentioning the however many millions of dollars that Tony has offered him to do this full-time once a week, by the way. Full-time is now, I'm going to be here every week.
Well, he could do Collision too. We don't know.
Oh, come on.
We don't know.
Frank Sinatra could do a fucking local goddamn telethon for uterus repair too, but I don't know if you need to fucking spread the stars that thin.
What channel's that telethon on?
That'll be on channel BR549. I'm glad he's happy, and I'm glad he's getting to work with people he likes, and I'm glad if they've annoyed him up at the other place or, made him feel unwanted, that he's somewhere that he can feel wanted. I'm afraid that the enthusiasm is going to wane when he sees what a shit show that the whole operation is, and that one person is not going to be able to stop this unless they're named Tony Khan or Shad Khan. And also, who does he want to get in the ring with over there when he had to retire for X number of years with a bad neck? Are we going to see
Ray Phoenix?
That's what I was going to say. Are we going to see Felix picking him up and dumping him on his head a couple of times in a row? Or are they going to treat him with the respect and deference that a major star with a bad neck deserves, or do they know how to do that? That's why he's got another reason he's got to be careful who he works with. I'd love to see Edge against Christian. That'll be fabulous. Edge against pockets may be a different matter. Who knows what's going to happen here? I don't know how. Against Adam. I don't know. Edge against Adam.
No, Edge is Adam. You can't call him Edge anymore.
Edge is Adam. Well, he's one step closer to the edge, and he's about to break.
Should he have changed his name to Cliff?
And then he could do the promos. You're headed for the cliff, baby. I'm just...
these promo videos, I remember saying it to you years ago when AEW first started. It would be one thing if you said, as a promotion, we want to let the audience know that we're giving each top wrestler a filmmaker that will work with them on crafting their vision for what they want to present to the audience. That's one thing. But I understand why guys like making these videos. I understand why he liked hanging out with Darby at Gum Alley. Why MJF and Adam Cole liked hanging out on the water with the Big Show. It makes them happy. But what function do these videos really serve, other than making the actual wrestler filming them happy?
Well, they could serve a purpose, but sometimes not in the context that they're presented. Remember, before the first primetime special on TBS back in 1986 for Crockett, they wanted to make Magnum look like a TV star, like he did anyway, standing there. And they shot him riding his motorcycle with his leather jacket down through the streets of Atlanta and into the Omni. And I think there were even some fans there to cheer as he pulled up. And then he went into the fucking building or whatever, and then they went into the open of the show. It's a cool thing. The big baby face, motorcycle riding, leather jacket wearing, fucking Tom Selleck looking motherfucker is riding through the streets of Atlanta on his motorcycle. It wasn't to come and save Dusty from the Horsemen. It was a personality piece. And it was shown on the television program to give him more personality, but it didn't come up on the screen when the Horsemen are kicking the shit out of Dusty that Magnum has to drive from fucking Northwest Peachtree Street down there with a camera on him and get all of his glory to come and save his fucking best friend.
With a camera on his head, a camera behind him, a camera to the left, every kind of view you can get of this rescue.
No, that's the context. Just showing him doing that in his private life like he really does it is fine and is great and gives you added dimension. But driving down the street while they're kicking the shit out of your fucking boy, fuck your video. Just get out there.
All right, well, let's go back to the Adam Copeland.
Diarrhea.
It's great.
Did he just say diarrhea?
And
let me rewind a second. I believe he may have said verbal diarrhea, but let's double check that. I want to make sure we get this right.
This is awesome. And again, back to that word, just free. Sorry, verbal diarrhea.
It's great. That's
anecdotally.
And then Tony says it's great.
It's great.
Sorry, verbal diarrhea. It's great. Thanks, Adam.
I have it all the time. I recommend it to you.
Let's go back to Mr. Verbal Diarrhea himself, Tony Khan.
And I love seeing you like this. I'm so glad you're happy to be here, and you're jumping right into the fire. Not only are you going to be making your first ever appearance on Dynamite this Wednesday, but then the following week, first of all, you're also coming to Collision, I believe, in Utah on the 7th. So he's working both shows this week. We're going to see Adam Copeland, the Rated R Superstar, Wednesday night, Dynamite in Stockton for the first time ever. And we'll see him for the first time ever on Collision this Saturday. And then the following week, Dynamite is actually going to be on Tuesday, October 10th for Title Tuesday. It's my birthday. It's going to be a great event. We're going to have a great time. I'm very excited about it. And I got the greatest birthday present in the world because the newest member of the AEW roster, the Rated R Superstar, Mr. Adam Copeland, has requested a match on October 10th in Kansas City. And we got a little preview of that action tonight on WrestleDream. Based on your request, it's going to be Adam Copeland, the Rated R Superstar, versus Luchasaurus on Tuesday, October 10th in Kansas City. And Luchasaurus is...
Wait, he said it was Title Tuesday. What title is that match for?
The fucking dinosaur title.
Right? There's no title. Why call it Title Tuesday if there isn't a title in every match?
Well, because it's titled Tuesday.
What's his birthday, too?
See that? He didn't say Title Tuesday. He said Title Tuesday. That's what they're going to call it. Tuesday. It's a new marketing campaign.
Is a multiple-time champion, one of the toughest wrestlers in AEW. It's going to be a great debut match for you.
It'll be hard.
Hey, what do you think of them going back and forth between kayfabe and not in kayfabe in this? I mean, obviously, when they're talking about his feelings and everything coming in there, there's elements of truth in there. When they're talking about it being a hard match against Luchasaurus,
I believe that too.
There may be elements of truth in that.
It's going to be like
too.
pulling teeth. Edge is going to get his dentistry degree because get a good match out of the fucking lizard without getting dropped on your head in some fashion, the big fucking bastard. He's okay with the job guys, and he's great backup for Christian, but on his own in a competitive match, I would be afraid. I'd treat Edge like a Fabergé egg. But yeah, it is going to be a hard match.
He's going to get kicked in the head. That's my money. I'm putting my money on Luchasaurus accidentally kicks Edge right in the head.
I think he'll err on the other side, and all his shit will whiff by a foot and a half because he's going to be petrified. See the dinosaur petrified? See what I did there?
All right, $10. You on?
Well, now, you didn't say we were going to put actual money up.
Big money, $10.
All right.
All right.
You say he knocks Edge out, I say he whiffs everything.
With like $10, I could buy like 1,000 shares of Podcast One. Hold on, let's go back to the audio here. Tony and Adam Copeland.
But I will say Luchasaurus is a guy that I always saw and saw so much potential in what he brings to the table. It's also kind of jumping into the deep end of the pool, but that's what I do.
It's awesome. It's so great. And we can take some questions, Mandy, if you want to.
You know, that's the weird dynamic. I believe Edge is genuinely excited and everything, but I also believe he laughed a little too hard at Tony's comments before. It's like when you're sitting next to the boss, there's a weird dynamic there where it's not completely genuine, especially because it's Tony. But let's go.
When everybody wants to look at the boss like he's got a mouthful of steaming turds, that's the problem.
Yeah, again, no one has said anything about money. Why are you here? Oh, Tony offered me much more money than they would even consider. That's not even being said.
We can get one from both of you.
Okay, great. Lyrics went monthly peer or so. So compared to a lot of your other peers from your generation, you've spent most of your career in one company.
Yep.
So now that you're in AEW, what are one or two of those bucket list items that you're looking to accomplish, whether it's an opponent or a match type? What's something that you're really excited to do?
You know, when I talked to Tony, I said, just in looking at the roster very quickly, like there's 14 names. I mean, that's just from a quick little cursory glance. But like I said, I mean, I've never faced Samoa Joe. That's really exciting to me. I've never faced or been in the same ring as John Moxley.
Oh,
Highly interesting to me. Claudio, never been in the ring. Like there's so many different talent here that I have a lot of respect for. And I'd really like to feel what that is. Kenny Omega. Like that's never happened. I just met him. We'd never met before, you know. There's a lot here to see and to challenge myself with. And again, that's my entire life has been built on challenges. So to look at that, oh God, a guy like me, that's a steak dinner waiting to be eaten.
You know, there's a lot of similarities actually between this and Jericho jumping to AEW, you know, before AEW was really a thing, in that it seems apparent WWE saw them one way and wanted to work them down the card or hold them in place while they elevated other people. And these guys are willing to invest on themselves and give this a shot. Again, millions and millions and millions of dollars, more than they would get from WWE. But still, it's a big chance. And WWE does not, I mean, it's what WWE did to Hogan in '93, technically. You know, they were going to work him down the card, put him in a tag team with Brutus Beefcake. So what do you think of that? Just the idea that, you know, beyond leaving WWE, this is also leaving WWE's way of seeing you.
Well, the thing is, you can't blame them, the WWE being them. In the case of Hogan, they did want to move him down because it had been 10 years. And he would have never meant Hogan would have never meant in WWF again what he meant in WCW and then going back to WWF. How can we miss you if you won't go away? A different look and a different environment. I don't know that Edge is at the point now where he's going to invigorate his career by going to AEW for a couple of years and then going back. I think this is, because he's older now than Hogan was then, right? In 93.
I mean, he's older now than, Flair was this age at the end of the 90s. I mean, it's crazy when you really try to put in perspective the age of 49 in wrestling now, how it's a shrug. And maybe a long time ago it was, but for a couple of decades there, your career was going down by that point. He's 49.
Well, we may be getting off topic here, but in the territories, you could always stay fresh. And as long as you weren't injured or so old that you just couldn't do anything, you could go from place to place and stay much longer. When it became national, then there was the problem with guys staying so long and being in the public eye in the same audience so long. And that's, what led to sameness and malaise. And now there's a million fucking people, but they haven't made any stars in 20 years. So the older guys that are late 40s, early 50s, whatever now are still names much larger than many of the younger guys.
How old was Johnny Valentine in the plane crash?
Johnny Valentine was either the same age as Edge or a year older. And he was still one of the biggest stars in the business.
Yeah. And again, kept it fresh. He had just come to the Mid-Atlantic a few years earlier and it changed everything. How old was Wrestling 2 in 84 when you worked with him?
Johnny Walker had to be in his mid-50s at that point.
And again, he was wearing a mask, so even though he looked old with the mask on, you didn't even get to see how old he truly looked.
Well, that's the thing, is that Johnny Walker, because he went bald and just had that face, had looked old when he was young. And then when he put the mask on, the body never really changed. You couldn't tell.
Well, let's go back to Edge talking to the wrestling media. I don't know how I feel about the wrestling media or whoever was giving him a standing ovation or an applause when he came into the room and announced that he signed a contract. That's not really the media's job, but let's go to this.
That's part of what they have to do that to get admission to the room. Go ahead.
Emily May with Sportskeeda Wrestling.
Hi.
So everyone was so excited, the fan reaction to have you debut tonight. And what I would love to know is, how did these conversations begin? And what can we look forward to, not only perhaps in ring, but also will you be helping out backstage perhaps in developing AEW talent or creating storylines?
Storylines.
I've always been a person that enjoys that process in terms of being heavily involved in the creative process and the direction of storylines, helping add little things. But those little things, when you put them together, they start to weigh a lot. I love that. I love detail, attention to detail and just the little nuances. I love that. I watch movies and I just, why'd they make that choice? I used to follow directors around and they'd be so annoyed. I'm like, why are you making that choice? Why are we turning around here? Why are we getting this angle? I'd go to the DOP, go, what's going on here? What's going on with this lighting? I'm just fascinated. It's part of why I fell in love with this industry, is the storytelling element of it. It's a form of art. And that's how I've always looked at it. And now it's an even more nuanced form of art, because it's so much more detailed and the audience is so much more intelligent. So you have to work to that intelligence. And
let me stop it there. That's a very interesting comment. The audience is so much more intelligent. You have to work towards the intelligence. If you're just talking about how smart they are to the wrestling business, what do you think of that?
Well, yeah, that's the problem there is they have a bunch of smart marks asking them smart questions, and they're booking their business for the only fans they have, which are smart marks. They don't care what the normal people think, because to the normal people, there is no attention to detail. None of this shit makes any sense. That's what we are now normal people, Brian, because we watched wrestling when it was for normal people and had to make sense. And you didn't have to appeal to the smart fans who were verklempt because the fucking buggy whip armed fucking 170-pound guy that could do the great drop kick wasn't getting used over the fucking star that sold the tickets. And now none of this shit makes sense to a normal person. So the attention to detail that he is wanting to bring, I don't know if they know how to fucking do that over there, because they're not in any way trying to make this real, which was the overriding directive of pro wrestling for 100 years. That's why everything mostly made sense if you could control it, and people understood it and wanted to go see it. Now it's for the learned marks, the intelligent wrestling marks that just want to see goddamn a choreographed, synchronized floor routine performed flawlessly, and that to them is 7 stars. And meanwhile, none of this shit looks fucking real to the average person, or you can't get caught up in it because they're all fucking trying to be actors and dramatic fucking performers instead of goddamn wrestlers mad at each other wanting to fucking fight. There's the problem.
Absolutely plan to be helping out whoever wants help. Whoever comes and talks to me, I am an open book. And my 31 years of experience, if you want to tap into that, I'm a phone call, I'm a text, I'm a come talk to me face to face away. That's always been how I've been. So, there were guys like I had a group of 7 people and I'd FaceTime with them an hour a day to help them find their voice in promos. I love doing that stuff. So that's.
What do you think of that? He has a FaceTime group with 7 different people and he spends an hour a day with them teaching them how to do promos.
I'd like to know who they are. And to see if because they probably have been helped. Edge can talk. He's not only done promos for all those years, but he's done the acting roles where you do pick up some things that you can apply to wrestling. He was talking about production aspects. It's always good to ask questions like that. That's what MJF was doing in MLW even. Well, I knew he was going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I'd like to know, but nothing wrong with that. But I think that the person that needs to go be reading Edge's open book and talk to him on a regular basis and FaceTime or whatever with him is Tony, because it all revolves around Tony. If you hire the greatest Shakespearean actor in the world and you give him a movie script or a play script written by a goddamn 8th grader, how good can it be? So I love that Edge wants to work with the young guys if they'll take the advice and criticism. And if he can figure out a way to work it into the show, will he be as demanding as Punk was? Will he say, we don't do that shit on a show I'm on because I don't want to look stupid? Or will he just be, well, I'll give these guys suggestions and I'll worry about my segment and Tony's writing the show, so it's going to be what it's going to be? There is the question.
I don't think anyone is as
demanding.
Well, Punk doesn't necessarily have the tact that other people will try to use to try
You
to
don't need
maneuver.
tact in wrestling.
I'm not saying you do. I'm saying everyone else tries to pussyfoot around things.
You need tact, maybe at church, or maybe at the grocery store so it doesn't erupt into a goddamn free-for-all. There is no tact in wrestling. There's do this, like this. And if you do it good and make it better, I'm going to put you in a main event. If you don't do it like I say and it looks like shit, I'm going to fire you. That's not tactful. That's just common sense.
That's part of what I think I bring to the table when I come here. And honestly, that was one of the really pivotal things, beside my daughter telling me that I should go be with Uncle Jay and have fun, that I thought I could really try and help here. And in turn, that helps the entire wrestling industry, which is the thing that I just love. Second behind my wife and my kids.
You know, that's what I worry about. CM Punk went in there with the same thoughts. He was going to help people. It was going to be fun. And he came out of it richer But in terms of reputation, in terms of frustration, in terms of everything else, he came out of it for the worse.
It wasn't fun.
You know, that's the one thing. He has that first day excitement. You know, Saraya had a big pop that first night. Miro had a big pop his first. You know, everyone does. Hopefully they can sustain it, at least his excitement. It's nice to see him this excited. And you hope.
Well, the good thing is they can't. Edge, Adam Copeland can't just disappear for weeks at a time. They have to feature him, and Tony's acknowledged that. So it's not like they'll, you know, just put him in the deep freeze like they have other people.
And, you know, Tony brought up earlier how great this was. This is amazing. This is great. This is, I think he also said it was awesome. And we have a way you could deliver a box of awesome to yourself. Well, someone else will deliver it. You can order it. You can receive and enjoy a box of awesome today. Isn't that right, Chip?
You can receive it. You can purchase it. You can spend not very much money on it. You can't deliver it to yourself. That'll be taken care of. But if you want awesome in your box, well, boy, it's going to be. Imagine that. Imagine in these trying times, you've got something to look forward to every month. That's when the mailman or the delivery person comes up to your door, beats on it with a club, and when you open the door, throws this box right in your face. And it's a box of awesome, courtesy of our friends at boxofawesome.com.
I just got my newest one. Did you get it?
What was in it?
Hold on, I have it right here. This is Stealth. It is a sideliner pocket knife from Bear & Son Cutlery. Cutlery, excuse me. This is actually a beautiful knife, and it handles really well in the hand. This is a really nice knife.
It handles very nice in the hand. You've gotten a lot of knives from Box of Awesome. Should we be concerned about you?
Let's move on here. It also has the Ultimate 7-in-1.
You said it's the slash kit?
It is the Stealth kit. Again, maybe you have too many knives.
Well, no, there's a slash kit. The knife in the slash box is made by Bare Bones, based in Salt Lake City.
Oh, that's a different company. No, and I also got here the Ultimate 7-in-1 tool pen from Jack Zaguri Designs. This is actually really cool. There's a bunch of things I could do with this. And finally, a money clip and a key capsule from Craig Hill. One word, Craig Hill.
Money clip. I can think of a few things you can do with that. What, a key capsule? You put your keys in that and then take it like a pill?
What?
A key capsule?
I don't think that's what it is.
What is a key capsule?
A key capsule is, let me open this. It's a capsule. How do I open this? Do I need scissors? Hold on. Oh, no, here we go. Oh, here we go.
You don't mean the actual, you're opening the packaging now. This is the opening of the Box of Awesome.
Well, I opened the box already. I'm opening the key capsule. It's a little capsule you could put, I don't know if my key would fit in here, but you could hide other things in here, or you could place other things in here.
You could
and keep it on yourself if you need to have things that you put in a covert location handy.
Ah! Does this stand up to the pressure of body cavity searches, I wonder? This secretive thing that you've got there?
Well, it is like a little plug. I don't know. Depends where you put it.
A little plug. Well, I'll give you a little plug because everything that comes from boxofawesome.com, or at least 90% of it, is from a small and up-and-coming brand. They're supporting small businesses, and they've got a great variety. You don't have to just be Jack the Ripper to want to get a Box of Awesome. They've got all kinds of things. They've got the Damascus steel knife by Buck and Bear Knives in Pennsylvania, and the gut hook knife in the Trail box made by Titan International, located in Illinois. But they've got the American barbecue rub in the carnivore box from the Great American Spice Company in Rockford, Michigan. They've got the multi-tool from SOG, a company with deep roots in the U.S. military. And they've got hot sauces from small brands all over the country, Texas, Nevada, California. They've got the cask package, which is barrels handcrafted from American white oak. They've been charred to create a smokier cocktail.
What's the name of that one?
American white oak.
No, what's the name of the package?
Oh, the cask. The cask.
Oh, cask.
Box. C-A-S-K.
I thought you said the cast package. I have that package already. It's where your money disappears.
Yeah, no, we've got his package too in our grip right now. They've got hand-blown Italian crystal glass. They've got amazing things. The Weekender bag that we got, metal hardware, reinforced frame, quality leather straps. You don't know, there could be anything in these boxes. All you got to do is go to boxofawesome.com and take a little quiz, what you're interested in. If you're not interested in knives, they don't want to send you 15 knives. But they've got camping gear essentials, cozy threads, everything from the best small brand. They're teeny weeny little brands. Sometimes you need a microscope to see them, but they do good stuff.
They're regular sized, and they are just maybe small companies producing great stuff.
Either that or it's a bunch of midgets that have gone into business for themselves. Regardless of what.
This pen is so cool. Listen to this. It's a ballpoint pen, a touchscreen stylus, a spirit level, so you can, level things if you're hanging them on the wall, inches and centimeter rulers, Phillips head and flathead screwdriver. This is a really nice pen. And this knife, this is one of the nicest knives.
Does it come with a death ray?
No, but there's always next month.
Well, there you go. So there's always, if you don't get your death ray this month, you might get it next month, folks, because right now you go to boxofawesome.com and enter the code JCE at checkout and get 20% off your first box. 20% off your first box at boxofawesome.com with the code JCE. How can you beat that? Because already you're only paying a fraction of the price the box is worth. Then you get 20% off. Now, if you're only paying 30% of what the thing is worth, and then you get 20% off of that, now you're down to 10%. Well, if you add in 5% for shipping and 7% for insurance, then you're at 22%. And that is below the federally mandated percentage that you have to pay before you consider that you've got a good deal, because the good deal bar is now set at 28%.
What?
I hope I've made myself clear.
I have no idea what you just said.
Well, that's why you just got to go to boxofawesome.com and enter the code JCE at checkout for 20% off and wait and see what comes to you.
That's right. Box of Awesome. I have to say, this is maybe the most awesome box I've gotten from them so far. This knife is one of the Bear & Son is the name of the company.
All right. And if you do see Brian Last out on the street, stay far away from him, especially if he's got his hands in his pockets.
I'll slice you up.
I'll cut you from asshole to appetite. I'll cut you 3 ways: long, wide, deep, and repeatedly. That's 4.
Metaphorically speaking, of course.
Metaphorically speaking.
Boxofawesome.com.
Code JCE.
Well, let's go back to the end of the awesome Adam Copeland. That could have been a nickname for him. Talking to Keith Elliott Greenberg here.
We can do a few more, I think.
Yeah, I'm on a roll.
Yeah, he's on fire.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Keith Elliott Greenberg with Inside the Ropes magazine. You mentioned that you were here Friday night. Now, there's a lot of people in this room who I think, had there been an Adam Copeland sighting, they would not have been able to contain themselves from tweeting about it. How did you manage to keep yourself scarce?
Oh man, I was sequestered. I sequestered myself in a hotel room. So we were in some sketchy neighborhoods. Like Darby took us to some sketchy places. It was like, ain't nobody here gonna worry about like Adam Copeland being here kind of thing, right? So nobody saw us. And then I went to my hotel room and I just like sneak out to get food. And this one kid, bless his heart, I'm at this burger joint and I just really wanted a cheeseburger because I hadn't eaten for 14 hours. And I was like, I just want to get a cheeseburger. So I'm in there.
Is he stealing your bit?
He's stealing my gimmick.
And I'm sitting there, I'm reading my book because I bring a book everywhere when I eat. And I looked up and he went, oh, I went, shh. Okay. And that was it. That was the only time that I had that encounter, because the rest of the time I was like, hoodie and all that. So yeah, that's what happened. I was out in Redmond.
See, that sounds like sloppy kayfabing to me.
What do you mean?
Going in and sitting and eating in a burger place in the town in which you're making a surprise. Now, Brian, who besides me has done more surprise entrances into a promotion where nobody knew it ahead of time? Did it in WCW in 93 and the WWF in 93.
ECW 97.
Did it ECW in 97? Did it Ring of Honor in fucking 2000 and what was that? 9. No,
And you love cheeseburgers, so what do?
I go to the drive-thru.
What if he didn't have a car?
Why wouldn't he have a fucking car? He's a grown adult man.
Someone drives him to the hotel. He's going to stay and sequester himself in the hotel. He's not going to leave. I don't know why he's not calling room service.
I never trusted
DoorDash.
anybody. I did my own fucking travel arrangements. I got to the town myself. I picked my own hotel, and I went my own way, and I didn't fucking goddamn have myself seen in broad daylight on the streets. And when I got to the building hours early, in the case of WCW, in 93, me and Stan and Tom and Bobby Eaton hid in a closet or a janitor's room of some description in center stage. I was at the hotel next door to the Manhattan Center in Ring of Honor in the WWF. Me and the Bodies flew, rented our car, and drove to Alexandria Bay, New York, and showed up at the goddamn building way before fans were hanging around. There's ways to do it, but you can't just be going out willy-nilly and shooting muscle car videos and going to get cheeseburgers and sitting down and eating, for heaven's sake.
Well, again, the video is one thing if it's late at night or overnight and it's in, Skid Row. There's a chance you can get away with that.
Skid Row. Now, we're not talking about them. And besides that, Flop Dollar just got fired.
But when you're hungry and you want a hamburger or a cheeseburger and you're in your hotel and you're not supposed to see anyone, he went to the place and someone saw him. At least one person he knows saw him.
Yes.
Do you even worry about, the person delivering the food? If you're going to order room service or if you're going to order from, nowadays DoorDash or Uber Eats or something, are you worried that that person will recognize you and go out and tweet something?
That may very well happen. That's why I'm saying you go to the drive-thru, keep your head down. Limited interaction.
Hi, my name's Amanda from WrestleTalk.com.
Oh, come on.
Fine, thank you. How are you?
What's your problem?
What the fuck is she, 6?
Well, she's from WrestleTalk.com. She just has
they
a very...
have children now that work for their organization that they're asking questions. Isn't that past her bedtime anyway, this media scrum? It's got to be 1 a.m.
Well, again, this was on the West Coast, but maybe she just has a high-pitched voice. Let's go back to her question.
You sound excited.
I am. So I've been authorized to ask this question. I'm not asking anything about contracts or anything of the like, but my favorite version of Adam Copeland is when he's with his lovely wife. Is there any chance that we might see you together here, or is that something that you'd like to do in the future again?
I mean,
Let me stop it there. That is really interesting just because this is a unique situation where a husband and a wife both have pre-existing relationships with WWE. That could create some issues, right?
I'm still going back to the questioner there and thinking, who's next? Is it going to be Diane Sawyer or Barbara Walters after this incisive journalist question? But that's one of the reasons why I was questioning whether Edge would want to pull the trigger on going and doing this or not, because it's not just him, it's him and his wife that have had this 20-year relationship with the WWE. They're still highly in the mix as far as Beth just worked, last year, doing the thing with Edge. They've got opportunities for Legends, deals, appearances. I don't know whether she's in the Hall of Fame or not. And so it had to be not only millions of dollars, but it had to be in case anything happens to AEW. Nobody said how long the contract is that Adam signed. Is it's a year, 2 years, 3 years? He had to get the money guaranteed from Tony's father. If AEW is not around, I still get this money, because he's excommunicating himself and Beth from the company for however long, and potentially with the new owners. They buy the company and he says, fuck it, I'm gone, and I'm on the other channel a week later. Are they going to be as easy to deal with as it might have been when the AEW thing's over in whatever fashion, and Edge might want to come back and do something in the way of appearances or something to do with the wrestling industry and get paid a lot of money for that. That's why I'm saying I don't know whether a guy that both he and his wife have been with the company for so long want to make that move just for a year or two and maybe piss him off for the rest of existence. But that's just me.
Anytime I get to be close to Beth, obviously I'm going to, be like super excited about that. I don't know about the possibilities of that in the foreseeable. But I love being around her, obviously. And we've had a blast when we did get to work together. But where she will be instrumental without anyone knowing it is she's my sounding board. So if you've seen me do something or you see something that you think worked, it was always bounced off Beth. And then she always gives me better ideas back. It's kind of amazing to be married to a Hall of Famer.
She went to OVW.
Who can suplex you.
Well, of course she did.
Good training.
That's why her ideas are so much better. And I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, Cornette, you've told the WWF to piss off before and you quit WCW and blah, blah, blah." Well, at that point, to be quite perfectly honest, they were not paying me millions of dollars a year to fucking show up part-time. And I didn't have to fucking... Edge was not having to sit in a room or a car with Shit Stain and Vince McMahon on a regular basis. And he's making a lot of money to work a day a week, maybe.
Well, you do know what it's like, though, to walk out because you're not happy with creatively what they are doing with you and what they're going to do with you. I mean, when you left Oli in 1990,
yeah.
I mean, you didn't have any faith in them at that point at all. So you left, and
right.
Again, you're a bit more vocal than Edge would be in a situation like that.
But I wasn't making millions. I was making $150,000, and I was having to work every goddamn day and be around these people all the fucking time.
Well, that's a good point, and that was the audio we're going to play from Edge. He was also asked about his theme song, mentioned he has a pre-existing relationship with the band, so he could use that song wherever he goes.